on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Imprisoned by anxiety.
It's rough for all of us because we all tiptoe around them.
Lisa says the mood in the household is dependent on how Ted's anxiety is that day.
The shades are always drawn.
These curtains, he's actually screwed.
You say even the dog is showing anxiety.
Absolutely down to the dog.
It's constant, it's relentless, it pulls you down, it wears you out. Are you ready to change that? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. Well, this is Ted. Now, Ted says he gets up every morning to send his 6-year-old son off to school and then goes back to bed. When Ted wakes up again, he has a shot of vodka, a cigarette, and takes an hour to himself. Then Ted's girlfriend, Lisa, picks out his clothes and cooks him breakfast. After that, and depending on how he's feeling, Ted says he might spend all day watching TV while Lisa caters to his every whim. Ted says he suffers from debilitating anxiety that he says has robbed him of almost every joy in life. Ted's girlfriend, Lisa, says she spends all day, every day, walking on eggshells, doing everything she possibly can to keep his anxiety at bay.
I'm the best at being stressed, let me tell you. Oh my gosh. I knew a knife had to be stabbed in me again before I got sleep.
Ted's anxiety has taken over our lives. When his anxiety is high, it is completely chaotic. Everything causes him anxiety.
Already I'm thinking about everything.
If my son gets upset, that gives him anxiety. Anything to do with his mom, opening up the mail, driving in the car, leaving the house gives him anxiety. He hates making phone calls, even talking to his mother on the phone. He can't deal with it.
I need sleep so bad. I'm gonna go crazy, I swear.
When Ted's anxiety is really bad, he'll sweat a lot. He has heart palpitations. He really can't concentrate or think. Ted's anxiety usually keeps him up at night.
6:40 p.m. He's been asleep all day.
It's rough for all of us because we all tiptoe around him. Ted has certain rules for the house. The doors are locked. The shades are always drawn.
And you'll see that it's taped. These curtains, he's actually screwed.
I believe that he has a fear of other people looking in and looking at our family. So there's something, a switch that's been turned off. It's very, very frustrating to be in this situation, but I can't look at him in a mad or angry way. I just can't. I hope that Dr. Phil can help Ted find peace with his anxiety. I just want a happy family.
Well, Lisa says the mood in the household is dependent on how Ted's anxiety is that day. And when it's bad, it's like a hurricane has ripped through the home.
Ted usually wakes up at 6 in the morning, unless he's been up all night with his anxiety.
Lately, it's been a sleepless night.
3:27 in the afternoon.
When he wakes up, he needs an hour to at least get himself together, and I can't discuss any important topics with him. He'll take a shot to calm himself down,
Grace, you gotta go now.
and he'll smoke his first cigarette.
That first cigarette is a killer. I automatically, my hands start shaking as soon as the nicotine gets in my body. This is what I'm talking about. What the first cigarette does to me. And it turns on the gloom and doom thoughts.
We wait for Dr. Phil to come on at 6 a.m.
I like to watch Dr. Phil in the morning because it calms me.
During the day, we'll watch TV or we'll clean up around the house. If he's having a bad day, it's on the couch and not doing much. We never go out or do anything. I am lost at how to help him anymore.
Well, joining us virtually is Lisa. Lisa, how are you?
I'm good, Dr. Phil. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing very curious, actually.
Yeah.
We asked you to rate this relationship on a 1 to 10 scale, and you rated it 7.5.
Yeah.
That really surprised me because you say you virtually live to manage his anxiety. You walk on eggshells. You cater to every whim. You have to climb the stairs to get his clothes so he doesn't have to because it makes his heart race. That you aren't even allowed to feel because it triggers his feelings. Wow. How is that a 7.5?
Well, because I feel it doesn't take away from the love that I have for him or the special moments that we do share. So it's not all doom and gloom every day. No, it is every day. Every day is anxiety, and every day it rules the house.
And you say you've started to have anxiety.
Oh, absolutely. It's rubbed off on me. I see some changes in my son even.
You have a 6-year-old,
Yes, we do.
and you say he's starting to show some signs of anxiety.
Yes.
And you have a 13-year-old in the home.
Yes, I do.
How's it affecting the 13-year-old?
She isolates herself a bit, and I believe she completely realizes that most of my attention is directed towards Ted most of the time, and I think she misses spending more time with me or craves to spend more time with me.
Okay, so not good for her.
No, not at all.
You say even the dog is showing anxiety.
Yes, absolutely, down to the dog. The dog is very weary, and especially if he is upset about something, the dog goes right to my side and will follow me around the whole house for the rest of the night.
So days are turning into weeks, and this has been going on for how long?
Years.
And what are you doing about it?
I didn't know what else to do for him. I am not doing much. I just cater to how I know he likes to have things and he likes things to be and what makes him comfortable. Other than that, I can't take that feeling away from him. So those are why I do the little things that I do for him, because I don't know how else to help. And I feel helpless.
Okay. So you're not doing anything to change it. And what you're actually doing is making it possible for him to continue to live the way he is.
I agree.
You're doing this for you.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense at all.
No, it does make sense. It's just ugly.
Tomorrow,
We're talking about body language.
With the behavior panel,
Nothing gets past these two. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I. What about the child?
I don't think we even heard his name.
Family ain't the same without family.
There's a tremendous amount of red flagging going on here.
She said, just let's kill your parents.
She's trying to almost romance you as she goes along.
She was telling the story like you're telling at a slumber party.
that's tomorrow. Then on Monday, on the premiere episode of Dr. Phil,
The doctors told me that my baby would die shortly after birth.
she crossed state lines for the right to choose.
Carrie to Barry, the abortion debate.
That's Monday.
A police officer called.
Mental in our relationship. Us arguing, that gives him more anxiety. But he says I heighten it. If I disagree with something with him, then I'm the one responsible for giving him anxiety. It's not fair. When Ted says he hates his life, I get very offended and hurt. Like, we have a home, we have a beautiful family. He's got a lot to be grateful for.
You know, I've often said there are two things that don't get better with time: bills and problems. You get a bill in the mail and just set it on the table, it's not going to get better if you're just sitting there. And problems don't get better if you just ignore them. And right now, we're dealing with a lot of problems. In order for things to change, you have to have a change agent. It's like water flowing in a river. It's going to continue to go the same route for centuries. It will never change unless somebody comes in and reroutes the river. And you're not doing anything to reroute the river, right?
Right.
In fact, you're making sure that it's easy for him to do tomorrow what he did today.
I understand. You're absolutely right.
Okay, how does that help him?
It doesn't.
How does that help you?
It doesn't.
How does that help the 6-year-old?
It doesn't.
The 13-year-old?
Not at all.
How about the dog?
Not at all.
Okay, so it's not helping anybody.
I just do what I thought was easiest for him.
Well, wait a second. I heard you say two things. I just heard you say, I'm doing this to avoid confrontation.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then you said, I'm doing what's easiest for him. That's two different things. So the first thing is, you're doing this for you because you don't want confrontation. Is that true?
Yes, a lot of the times, if he's miserable and he's feeling a certain way, the whole mood in the house changes.
Okay, but I want to be sure I understand this. You're saying, I know this isn't helping him. I know it's costing my children, but I don't want to deal with it, so I do it anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense at all.
No, it does make sense. It's just ugly. You're saying, I know this doesn't help him, and I know it hurts the children, but it keeps me comfortable, so screw them. I'm going to do what keeps me comfortable.
But I'm not really comfortable.
Well, but you think you are. You're avoiding conflict, so you say, I'm going to throw the kids under the bus and him under the bus so I don't have to confront the situation. I just want to be sure I understand that.
I've tried to confront the situation.
That's not what you said. Look, I can explain this. I can explain this to you, but I can't understand it for you.
Okay, I understand. No, I don't want confrontation in the house, so I just try to keep everybody happy, but it's not obviously.
Oh, you're trying to
keep
you're trying to keep yourself happy because we already had decided it's not helping him and it's not helping the kids. It's just keeping you from having to deal with it.
I didn't look at it as being selfish, but I see what you mean.
Well, you're taking the line of least resistance for you. It's easier to not rock the boat, right?
Yes.
That wasn't your intention when you started it, but that's how it works out. I mean, I know that's not easy to hear, but that's the effect of what you're doing, because you're not helping him, you're not helping the kids, but it is kind of keeping the lid on it for you.
You're right.
Are you ready to change that?
1,000,000%, yes.
Because if you're not, you're in the wrong place.
No, this is why I wrote into you.
Because I call a spade a damn shovel, and and this is what I'm saying. That's why enabling is so ugly. Enabling is kind of an easy word to say, but what it really involves is pretty ugly.
Right.
Enabling is to make something possible, practical, or easy for someone to do or be, and often perpetuates the problem. And that's what you're doing, right?
Absolutely.
Well, Lisa says she rated her relationship a 7.5, like I said. But Ted, who gets all this service, he just rates it a 4 or 5. We're going to meet him after the break.
Oh, my gosh. My anxiety is the worst it's ever been. Blow up will come in the mail. Oh, they're gonna cancel me. I don't like taking pictures of myself. I don't want to look attractive. I definitely feel like I live in a prison in my mind.
I want to talk about things that need to be talked about.
Hate crimes in the U.S. rose last year to the highest level in more than a decade.
Why am I being targeted just for looking the way I am?
It gets worse, Dr. Phil.
The carnage in our nation's schools has become painfully repetitive.
I just started screaming her name,
But I never heard anything back.
The police officers, we failed you.
More intense, more inclusive, more informative than ever.
The defunding plan has failed. It's a complete disaster.
People will do desperate things in order to survive. You're not solving anything by arresting those people.
We're not trying to win an argument. We're trying to solve a problem. Customers seem to be losing their cool at the drop of a hat. What the hell is going on? If you miss a day, you miss a lot. Oh, look about that. Ted says he's had anxiety since he was 17 years old, and things have only gotten worse. So, of course, the question I'm going to have is, what's he been doing about it since he's 17? He says he lives in constant pain, and he wants nothing more than to get his life back. But has he behaved that way? Take a look.
As soon as I open my eyes in the morning, I get a flash of what's wrong, and I automatically just start thinking negative things, and my heart rate increases. My anxiety is the worst probably it's ever been. Oh my gosh, I knew it. Something had to happen. My anxiety causes me to catastrophize, and then blow up will come in the mail, my health insurance or something. And I automatically think, oh, they're gonna cancel me, or this is bad news. It's ridiculous. I don't like taking pictures of myself. I never think they look right. I don't look attractive. My stomach has to be tighter. It's just never good enough. I am fanatical about cutting my hair because I cut my own hair. 2 mirrors and using both hands. But then there's this thing that feels like sucking me down, and I know all I gotta go through. It's just hard to do. The anxiety that I have, it's almost like a carrot that hangs from the stick in front of the donkey that he can never reach. Looking at my keyboard, wanting so bad to do the music, but I just can't. And I have over 200 songs.
This far into the maze, my crazies or anyone out there that can save me. Maybe I'm hoping.
So it's not like I physically can't. It's not letting me. I definitely feel like I live in a prison in my mind.
Well, also joining us virtually is Ted. Ted, it's good to meet you.
Good to meet you, Dr. Phil.
You've been watching me a long time.
Yes, I have. Every day. Yeah, pretty much every day.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Now, I'm curious. You said you want this to change more than anything. True?
True.
Why?
Because it's robbing my life.
You think it affects you as a father, as a partner, as a songwriter, as a performer, every aspect of your life, this takes away?
Yes, sir. Yes, it does.
There are some things that you do. You ride your bike sometimes in the evening. You get up for your son and get him off to school. How do you accomplish that?
Those things seem to be natural to me, just the, man, I'm not, just not having people around that I have to worry about what I look like or what if I'm gonna say something wrong or anything. Like, that's why, this is even hard for me right now.
Your anxiety, when it comes up, what's the physical experience you have with anxiety? What happens?
My heart pounds real hard. Like sometimes to the point where you can see my shirt flutter.
Uh-huh.
And I start sweating.
Right.
My hands get cold, my feet get cold, and I just start thinking doom and gloom thoughts and all the things that I have to do in the future and how am I going to take care of it all, and just on and on and on. It's just like a computer that does not stop in my head.
Okay, so let's go over it again. Your heart, you get heart palpitations, your heart pounds.
Yeah, my heart pounds.
Your extremities get cold.
Yes.
You break out into sweats and you get flush, right?
Yes.
And you left out one that I've seen. You show us where your hands, you get tremors in your hands. You shake.
Yeah, in the morning, mostly when I smoke a cigarette.
All right, and then you say you catastrophize. You start thinking everything that could possibly go wrong, gloom and doom, something's going to happen, and you're afraid to be happy because if you are, sure enough, something bad will happen.
Or I'm waiting for it to go wrong.
It's like if I let myself be happy, I'm just asking for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And that drains you. You don't have any energy, right? Because it's like this wears you out.
Yeah, it's like maintaining this beast inside of me all day long.
Yeah.
You know, I can physically feel tired by like 4 o'clock, like I've been working all day.
Okay, so inside, your heart pounds, you get cold hands, cold feet, you break out into sweats, you sometimes have tremors, you get fatigued, it's exhausting, and then you have catastrophic thoughts that are just paralyzing.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Have I got it?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Well, not basically. If I'm missing anything.
Okay. It's constant. It's not like, oh, I'm having a little bit of anxiety right now. It's just all day long.
It's like a big, it just hangs on you all the time, like dragging you down.
Or like boot roots growing out of your boots. You know what I mean? Like just trying to keep me there. Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes it hard to do anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Have I got it?
You got the basic gist of it. Yeah.
Ted says he is always worried about how he looks, acts, speaks. So much so he can't even go outside without worrying about that people are judging him. I got it. We'll talk more about it next.
From navigating
making a beat on my synthesizer, it takes me away. But singing out loud with no restriction, it's so freeing.
Jokes in my head from a time I was almost dead, and now they trying to crawl back into bed. They said I wouldn't make it, make them stop, I can't take it.
Fall Down was a song I wrote about why people, like society, the world, and also about myself, make mistakes or suffer so easily. I like making music that's truthful, music that's real.
Lisa says her boyfriend Ted doesn't ever want to do anything. She says it's hard to watch him spiral further into this lifestyle while also having to tiptoe around how he's feeling each and every moment of each and every day. Do you two care about each other?
Yes.
Definitely.
Are you glad you're in a relationship?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Ted, do you want Lisa to be happy?
Yes. Yes, I do.
As a couple, you guys want to be together and laugh and talk and, you know, go out and enjoy yourselves and have friends and a social life and just really enjoy the world, right?
Yeah.
How important is it, do you think, to be good role models for your children?
I think it's everything.
The most important.
Do you guys think you're being good role models now?
We could be better.
Yeah.
Are both of y'all sober?
For the most part, yeah.
You've both been addicted to opioids in the past, right?
Yes.
From a doctor, not like street
right
crazy.
But are you both clean and sober now?
I take my medications that are prescribed to me. And I'll have a shot of alcohol in the morning sometimes to calm me down to get grounded.
Okay, so
I know that was.
So that's a no. You're not clean and sober.
No, I guess if you consider that.
Drinking in the morning, yeah, I do consider that. Lisa says their 6-year-old son is now showing signs of anxiety. She says he's crying in school, always wants to be around them, and this is happening a lot because kids have been home during quarantine and have really regressed some and gone back to dependency on parents. And I suspect that's exacerbated in this situation, but it's very widespread right now. So what do we do about that? And I'm going to answer that question when we come back.
Tomorrow.
We're talking about body language
with the Behavior Panel.
Nothing gets past these two. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I. What about the child?
I don't think we even heard his name.
Family ain't the same without family. There's a tremendous amount of red flagging going on here.
She said, just let's kill your parents.
She's trying to almost romance you as she goes along.
She was telling the story like you're telling at a slumber party.
That's tomorrow. Then on Monday, on the premiere episode of Dr. Phil.
The doctors told me that my baby would die shortly after birth.
She crossed state lines for the right to choose.
Carry to bury, the abortion debate.
That's Monday.
Closed captioning provided by...
I do feel guilty at times because most of my attention is directed towards Ted and not our children. My son's 6, and I do see some of Ted's anxiety rubbing off on Chase. Chase has heard us arguing, and it's heartbreaking for both of us.
My relationship with my son, Chase, it's beautiful. When I'm with him or he gives me a hug, he's just peace for me.
Ted is scared that his anxiety will affect Chase. He has said that all he wants is to break this generational curse and for Chase to be a happy and confident boy.
Well, I'm here with Lisa and Ted says that his anxiety is so debilitating that it has taken him away from everything that he loves in his life. And joining me now to help unpack all of this is Dr. Charles Sophie. Now, he is a child and family psychiatrist, and he is really an expert in these matters. He is a former medical director of the LA County Department of Child and Family Services. He's also a member of the Dr. Phil Advisory Board. And I thank you for being here, Dr. Sophie.
Thank you. Thank you.
You and I have done a deep dive into this. You've been through everything that I've been through. I was just asking the two of them about being clean and sober because both of them have been addicted to opioids in the past.
Right.
Prescription.
Right.
That doesn't change the chemistry of it.
Right.
They've been addicted to opioids in the past. And now Ted is taking Suboxone, Xanax, drinking in the morning,
right.
Vodka.
Right.
At times in the past, he's had a lot more vodka, but now he's doing it just in the morning. And Lisa, you're taking what at this point, Lisa?
I'm prescribed this Suboxone and Xanax as well.
Okay. Xanax is highly addictive, correct?
The most highly addictive medication out there. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're going to get hooked on that faster than anything.
Yeah, and you're going to eat it up, and you're going to need more and more and more.
Because your body starts to adapt, and
yes.
so you need more to have it effective. All right?
Yes.
So in terms of what you're seeing here, what jumps out at you the most?
Well, I think, like you said earlier, there's two addicts that are trying to be sober, but they're sort of sober. And you can't be sort of sober. It's just like when you're pregnant, you're either pregnant or you're not. You're either sober or you're not. And just because there's this understanding that somebody prescribes my medication and I'm not buying them off the street doesn't mean you're not an addict or that you're addicted. So I think they're fooling themselves by trying to say they're sober, but they're not.
You've got Ted that is struggling with anxiety and Lisa who is enabling it to the point of ridiculousness.
Yes. I also think that, Ted, maybe you don't know, you may not have full anxiety that you feel as anxiety. You could be in a detox situation in between each drink or each pill, and you're just chasing yourself. Do you see what I mean? So until you're totally sober, you're never going to have that answer.
I understand what you're saying.
We don't have a baseline, Ted. We don't know what we have to work with you. And you say you've tried therapy in the past, but Lisa, you say he hasn't made a sustained commitment to therapy for 12 years.
No, it's not come up. I think it goes with everything that his anxiety does to him with the phone calls and the leaving the house. And even though he wants help, it's just never got to that point where I could get him to a doctor.
Okay, well, it's not a matter of you getting him to a doctor. You know, Ted, listen, here's the thing. If this is robbing you of your life and you've got children in the home and you've got your son for whom you are the most powerful role model in his life, and this is something that has been robbing you for so many years, it comes down to the question, what are you doing about it? And I'm going to get the answer from you right after the break.
Ted had a very hard upbringing. His deceased father would call him an ugly, and he was very militant, and I think that's where all of his anxiety comes from.
My father, he was a Green Beret. One time my mom asked me, why are you walking on your tiptoes? I would walk on my tiptoes because if I hit the wall and make a mark, all hell is gonna break loose. My dad wouldn't specifically say, you're not good enough. He just always gave me the sense that I could never do things right.
Ted, what are you doing to overcome this? Historically, over the last several years, what are you doing to overcome it?
It's strange, like when I hear the other doctors answer and I think about everything. I feel like I have done everything on God's earth to look for answers. Every doctor you could name, programs, year-long programs that I completed, everything that I've ever tried to do for this anxiety, I always excelled through the programs or whatever, but it just never changed whatever's happening inside of me. I feel like, that's why we were trying to get in touch with you, because I feel like I don't know what else to do. And we have spoken about therapy and brought it up, and yeah, we need to do it. Next thing, my mom's in the hospital, and I don't want to make excuses like
okay,
that.
well then let's go. Okay, let me interrupt you because time is important here.
Okay.
Here's what it boils down to. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. What I want to know is, what have you done? And Lisa says you haven't done anything in a sustained fashion for years. Lisa, true or false?
No, I've watched him try to work on himself. I really have. As far as that would be the only thing is therapy.
What do you mean the only thing? He's done everything except therapy?
Yes. He's worked on himself. He's tried different routines. He's tried to read books, anything he could do to try to feel better. But the one thing would be therapy in our time together.
Okay, so you've done everything to get this under control except go to people who professionally are trained to get it under control. And let me just tell you, this is not something that you do for a week or a month or 2 months or 3 months. You do it until. If this is something that is important to you, it is important to your family, important to your son, important to your stepdaughter, important to you, you do it until you get it under control. You don't do it for a week or a month. You do it until you succeed. You don't ever stop until you unlock the lock and get in the door you need to get in. This isn't, you work to criteria. You do this until you get where you need to go. I want to talk about things that need to be talked about.
Hate crimes in the U.S. rose last year to the highest level in more than a decade.
Why am I being targeted just for looking the way I am? It gets worse, Dr. Phil.
The carnage in our nation's schools has become painfully repetitive.
I just started screaming her name, but I never heard anything back.
The police officers, we failed you.
More intense, more inclusive, more informative than ever.
The defunding plan has failed. It's a complete disaster.
People will do desperate things in order to survive. You're not solving anything by arresting those people.
We're not trying to win an argument. We're trying to solve a problem. Customers seem to be losing their cool at the drop of a hat. What the hell is going on? If you miss a day, you miss a lot. Oh. This is not something for which there is no fix. This is not some incurable disease. Right. This is one of those things that you can do. But you can say, well, I'm going to do this, or I tried this and it didn't work, so I quit and read a book. No, you need to do what you have to do to get this under control. And you can't do it if you're addicted to drugs and getting up in the morning and drinking and smoking cigarettes and going back to bed. You need professional help on a sustained basis, and you can turn this around. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're 100% right, but they can't turn it around unless they're sober. Sober is the first step.
And Lisa, you're fired.
Right.
This is not your job. That's good news. You just lost your job. Your job is to be a mother and to be his partner. It is not to be his mother, his therapist, his fixer. This is over your pay grade. It is not your job. You need to take care of you and partner with him, but you're not his therapist. You can't fix this.
I get it. I get it. Just like you said, you get it. Yeah. I know. I don't want to take Suboxone. I'm tired of it. It's like you traded one thing for another.
Right.
even though it doesn't make you feel anything. I don't want to take that stupid thing in the morning. I don't. I'm tired of having to make sure I have my 4 for the day of anxiety medication with me everywhere I go, just in case. You know, I understand.
Good.
It's just gotta go. It's gotta go.
It all has to go. Get cleared
And
up.
it takes medical supervision to do this.
Yes, it
And
does.
you can be specific with them about that.
Yep.
And we can do that after this. But I'm telling you, if you start there and then we talk about a sustained therapeutic intervention,
Right.
then you got a different ball game. But it starts there, and you can talk with them about the medical supervision of that and how to do this safely.
Right.
For more information about today's episode, log on to drphil.com, and do not forget to subscribe to my podcast, Fill in the Blanks. You also want to listen to Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret. Check it out on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll see you next time. I'm very optimistic about you two.
So thank you for giving me this time after. So
Thank you.
I don't know what you're worried about. You want to talk a little bit about that?
I just felt like the way everything was being thrown at me, like that I was some neglectful mother that sits in her room and
But nobody's saying anything about your parenting at all. It's like I said, you're either you're an addict or you're not, or you're sober or you're not. So you really do need to get sober.
It's called recovery.
But see, you still have all that underlying stuff from when you were a kid that you medicate over. You need to get cleaned up so that then you can see what mental health symptoms are there so that we can get the right medicine to treat it. And the same for you, Lisa. Like, Xanax is not a good drug. For
no,
anyone.
I know. And I don't even take what's prescribed to me.
Right, but you don't know how much of your anxiety is coming from him not being settled alone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But you're not getting quality sleep every night either, which only adds to the problems of the day. And then you're on each other's nerves.
It's interrupting me being a regular.